Is GitHub Copilot still worth paying for? Or are the alternatives finally better? I looked at 6 real replacements across cost, model flexibility, and code quality, and one of them completely changed how I think about AI coding tools. GitHub Copilot is the incumbent. Cursor, Claude Code, Windsurf, Continue, Tabnine, and Cody are the challengers, and the question is simple. Which one actually fixes the pain points that are driving developers away? Alternative 1, Cursor, the multi-model editor. You're already frustrated that GitHub Copilot locks you into GitHub and OpenAI models, right? Every time a better model drops, you can't touch it without switching tools entirely. And that single vendor trap is the complaint I hear most from developers who are actively shopping for a way out. So let's see if Cursor actually fixes it. I looked at how Cursor handles model access versus GitHub Copilot, and the gap is real. Cursor lets you pick from Claude, GPT, and others, while Copilot is locked to its own stack. Community consensus puts Cursor's code suggestions above Copilot's roughly 30% acceptance rate. The one edge Copilot holds, its flat monthly fee, is at least transparent, while Cursor's pricing is harder to pin down. Cursor takes the model flexibility win, and I didn't expect the quality gap to be this clear from community data alone, but it is. GitHub Copilot holds the cost transparency point because at least you know what you're paying, so the score sits at 1 strong pick for Cursor, 1 point for Copilot on transparency, and that's already a meaningful split for most developers. I've burned real money hitting Copilot's credit ceiling mid-session, which is exactly why I track this stuff obsessively, so you don't have to. Drop a comment if the model lock-in has bitten you too. Alternative 2, Claude Code, the terminal agent. You've got a complex multi-file refactor, you hand it to GitHub Copilot, and by file 3, the suggestions start falling apart. Context errors, missed dependencies, and you're back to fixing it manually. That quality degradation on complex projects is one of the biggest complaints driving developers out of Copilot. So let's see what Claude Code does differently. Watch what happens when you throw multi-part projects at Claude Code. Community consensus says it handles them better than Copilot, which degrades on complex tasks. The catch is, it's a terminal agent, not an in-editor autocomplete, so it's a fundamentally different workflow. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Cost is harder to pin down than Copilot's flat fee, but Copilot's credit burn makes that published number less honest than it looks. Claude Code takes complex project handling, and the workflow difference is actually a feature if you're a terminal-first developer. GitHub Copilot holds the cost transparency point again, because at least you know the number upfront, and that puts the running tally at 2 strong picks for the alternatives, 2 points for Copilot on pricing clarity. Alternative 3, Windsurf, the free tier challenger. The number here is $0 to get started, versus GitHub Copilot's paid monthly minimum. You're probably thinking a free tool can't compete on quality, and that's the exact objection worth stress testing, because Windsurf also offers multi-model access at $15 for its Pro plan. I ran the numbers twice here because the price gap is genuinely hard to argue with. Windsurf's free tier costs nothing, its Pro plan is $15 versus Copilot's monthly minimum, and it supports multiple models unlike Copilot's locked stack. The honest caveat, community consensus puts Windsurf's code quality as decent, but less proven than Copilot's, so you're trading some reliability for real savings. Windsurf takes price and model flexibility, and I didn't expect the free tier to hold up this well against a paid incumbent. GitHub Copilot takes code quality on this one, which keeps it competitive, and the tally now sits at 3 strong alternatives picks. 3 points for Copilot across the board. Alternative 4, Continue, the open source extender. You're on a team with strict data policies, and GitHub Copilot's cloud-only model is a non-starter. Your code can't leave your infrastructure, and that's a hard wall. Continue is the option built specifically for that situation, with local LLM support and full open source code. So let's see what that actually costs you in setup effort. The part that got me about Continue is how directly it addresses Copilot's lock-in. Local LLM support, fully open source, your data stays where you put it. The trade-off is real though. Setup is a DIY job, and Copilot is plug and play by comparison. So if you don't want to spend an afternoon configuring things, Continue is going to frustrate you before it helps you. Continue wins local LLM support and open source freedom, and those two things alone make it the only real answer for privacy-constrained teams. GitHub Copilot takes ease of setup cleanly, and the running count now sits at 4 wins for the alternatives across different dimensions. 4 points for Copilot where convenience and transparency matter. So far, the alternatives are holding their own, but the next two cover privacy deployment and deep codebase awareness, and those are the dimensions where a lot of teams make or break their final call. Tabnine and Cody are up next, and one of them is going to surprise you with how narrow the gap actually is against a paid incumbent. Alternative 5, Tabnine, the privacy-focused autocomplete. Your security team just flagged that GitHub Copilot sends code to the cloud, and now you need an on-premise deployment option or the whole tool is off the table. That's the exact scenario Tabnine was built for. So the question is whether the privacy win comes at too steep a cost in raw suggestion quality. Tabnine delivers on-premise deployment, which GitHub Copilot simply doesn't do. So for security-constrained teams, that's a hard stop in Tabnine's favor. The cost, though, is real. Community consensus says Tabnine's suggestions are less powerful than Copilot's, and Copilot's pricing is at least published, while I couldn't find Tabnine's. So you're trading suggestion strength and cost clarity for the privacy guarantee. GitHub Copilot takes this one on suggestion quality and cost transparency, and I'll be straight with you. If privacy isn't your hard constraint, Tabnine doesn't beat Copilot on the things most developers care about day to day. That moves the score to GitHub Copilot 4, Alternatives 1, which is the first time Copilot pulls ahead on the board. Alternative 6, Cody, the source graph-powered assistant. You're working across a large codebase with dozens of files, and GitHub Copilot keeps losing context, giving you suggestions that ignore how your modules actually connect. That codebase awareness gap is a known Copilot weakness, and Cody is built on source graph's graph indexing specifically to close it, so let's see if it actually does. Alright, so when I dug into Cody's codebase awareness versus Copilot's, the edge is real. Cody uses source graph's graph to understand how your code connects, and that's a genuine advantage over Copilot on complex repos. The honest limit is maturity. Cody is newer and the community is smaller, and I couldn't find published pricing either, while Copilot's flat fee at least gives you a number to budget against. GitHub Copilot takes Cody on maturity and ecosystem size, and that's the call from the data. A newer tool with less community proof loses to the incumbent on those dimensions. Final score, GitHub Copilot 5, Alternatives 1, but that single win for the alternatives is Tabnine on privacy, and the other 4 alternatives each won their own specific dimension against Copilot. So why are developers leaving GitHub Copilot? 3 concrete reasons. First, credit burn. Users report 90 to 200 credits per request, which can wipe out a monthly budget in 1 or 2 sessions. Second, pricing changes hit without warning. Student plans got capped at 200 credits a month and premium model access got pulled. Third, vendor lock-in. No local LLMs, no alternative model providers, full stop. That said, GitHub Copilot still wins in 2 real scenarios. For simple, well-defined tasks, its in-editor suggestions are fast, convenient, and they work without any configuration. And for teams already deep in the GitHub ecosystem, the integration is genuinely tight. Pull request reviews, commit message generation, it all connects without extra setup. So if that's your world, the alternatives add friction without adding enough value. If you want the best all-around replacement with multi-model access and better code quality, Cursor is the default pick. If you need local LLMs or on-premise privacy, Continue or Tabnine are your only real options. If cost is the only thing driving you out, Windsurf's free tier is hard to beat. And if you're a terminal-first developer on complex, multi-file work, Claude Code is the one. The winner changes with your pain point, not with a single score. One thing the pricing page doesn't say clearly, GitHub Copilot's flat fee is not actually flat under agentic use. Power users are reporting bills that jump 10 to 50 times higher once usage-based billing kicks in. And on the Pro Plus plan at 7,000 units a month, you can burn through roughly 8% of your entire monthly quota in just 2 hours of heavy work. If Windsurf caught your attention and you want to know what you can get for free before spending anything, I put together a full breakdown called Best Free Cursor Alternatives, which covers the no-cost options in the same category with the same level of detail, and a few of those picks will genuinely surprise you given how capable they've gotten recently.